Good afternoon, everybody. It's Mike with smartoptiontrading.com. It's Sunday, the 11th of January. This is my week ahead video. I do this for members. I give it to you out there for free this week. Football coming on. We had a couple great games yesterday. I mean, my God, that ending between the Rams game and Carolina and then Chicago coming all the way back. So, we go into this week, a lot of football, and then we have the markets. And the markets this week are going to have a lot of juice. So first off, let's start off on the economics front. And, we can see we have good amount going on here. A lot of red Fed speak on Tuesday morning, open the room up early with CPI at 8:30, PPI and retail sales on Wednesday. So busy there. Right. So we also have that. The other big thing going on Wednesday at 10 o'clock, Supreme Court is expected and there's announced they're going to release their decision on tariffs. That's the wild card this week, real wild card there on what they do or don't do and how they address that. So keep in mind, there's going to be a lot going on this week. We also, earnings kicks off again this week. Earnings season kicks in Tuesday morning before the open, JP Morgan and Delta Airlines. Wednesday morning, Bank of America, Citigroup, and Wells Fargo. Thursday morning, it's not on here, but Taiwan Semi reports along with GS, BlackRock, and Morgan Stanley. So we're going to get a big look at all the banks here this week. Let's talk sentiment as we go into this week. And you can see here, NASDAQ on the highs versus lows, plus 376 versus negative 95. These are very, very good numbers. On the S&P 500, plus 168 versus negative 10. Very good numbers there as well. To put the call, big bullish reading. Okay, this is the contrarian indicator. When the market gets too pulled up, we usually look for a smackdown. So likewise, when we get too bared up, we look for a short squeeze. So we'll keep an eye on that. Market breadth turned back up here on the NASDAQ, and the New York Stock Exchange is at an all-time high and leading up and just running. Your advanced decline lines, all nice moves here for the most part. The NDX, the laggard here. IWM, nice move there on small caps, and the oscillators, plus 85 on the NASDAQ, New York Stock Exchange, plus 77 on the NASDAQ. We're on the positive side of neutral on both. So this market, this consolidation pattern, just kind of stay here, right? We've been sideways basically for the last couple of months. We did hit a new all-time high in the ES on Friday, but didn't hold it, and came back in. And overall, we're just sitting here. And again, you have a series of higher lows here, right? One, two, three. It looks like we're trying to get going here. We can hope. If you're looking for the one that could have the juice, it's the NQ. Why? Because the NQ just broke this downtrend, is trying to break out. Look for a move above 26K there. Crude pushing up. I mean, this whole thing going on with Venezuela. If you were paying attention, you know, Trump keeps saying we're going to have heavy investment, heavy investment. The oil companies went in, they met with him on Friday, and they said no. They basically said they're not interested. They're not interested in going in at this time. He said, I have 25 other companies that are willing to go in if you don't. And they said, okay. And I don't know who these 25 companies are. Bottom line is, Chevron still operates there. ExxonMobil still lost 12 billion there last hoe. ConocoPhillips lost 2 billion. They're not interested in going back in, not until things are resolved in our security. Same thing with all these minerals. The minerals talking about rare earth and stuff. It's not rare earths, not rare. It's everywhere. The problem with rare earths is that China holds the monopoly on refining them. It's a very dirty process. 90% of rare earth minerals are refined in China. They're shipped from around the world to them. Uh, Again, companies wanting to go into Venezuela and invest billions of dollars, they're going to need security guarantees first. So all this kind of sits here and says, nothing really quickly is likely to happen here. There's not going to be a massive amount of Venezuela oil coming on the marketplace. Bottom line is oil's up a little bit and looking a little bit better. Bonds overall remain weak and out of play. Gold just off the all-time high. Silver just off the highs. Bitcoin, cannot break this 50-day on the futures, right? Look at this very clear rejection 3 days in a row on that. This 95 area it needs to break. The VIX saying there's nothing to worry about here, smack down. HYG moving up at the markets. The transports, nice move on the highs. This is good. Markets like that. And the dollar in a strengthening phase, but overall remains weak. So when we talk about the S&P 500 this week, here we are. We broke out to a new all-time high on Friday, riding the 8-day nicely. This little dip last week was very viable. And, can we get momentum now off of this? We have the tariff situation, we have inflation data, and we have earnings. So, we're looking for something to push us and get this market moving, not up and then come right back down. We'd like to get out of this constant chop back and forth phase that we've been here, these little downtrends, though. Breaks have been very good. So we'll see how this plays out. Not much on the XLF this week for me. We'll see what their names report. All the banks are close to and just off the all-time high. We'll see where they go. Worth noting here, Firm is trying to wake up above 84. That one's interesting. RKT put a new 52-week high, a nice move there. Wouldn't chase that, but on dips, I'd take a look at it. Even Little Open is trying to wake up here a little bit. We'll see. In front of turn to energy, if they come back after energy, nice all over the place last week on this news. ExxonMobil put a new all-time high in up there at 125.93. So we'll watch to see if it could take that out. Chevron's perking up. It's not an all-time high, but 165.75 is level to clear there. Um, BTU, natural gas play, nice cup and handle here. This one's waking back up. LNG also not doing as much here, not coming off the lows, but BTU, nice move. BE, Bloom Energy's also had a nice move. You can keep an eye on some of these names there. For me, I'll focus on ExxonMobil and Chevron. Boeing, nice breakout pattern here, and this one is just trying to break out. And one I would definitely keep my eyes on here. It needs to get above this 238 area for a break of 242.70, and then to put it at a 52-week high. Nice chart starting to play out there on that one. CAT remains strong. I don't generally trade this, but holding it nicely. The airlines remain very strong. Look at this move on Delta. Even American Airlines is strong. United, very strong. The airlines remain very strong. In the food space, Kava, nice move here. It's into this gap here above the 200-day. I put this on your radar for more gap to fill. CMG just finished filling its gap here. Nice move here, not as extended. Could start trying to run itself back up to that 42 area. Starbucks, for what it's worth, above 90 gets interesting. Looks like it's trying to break out of this consolidation pattern. Keep it on watch. Retail, I would watch Nike here above the 200-day. We'll see what they say on Wednesday. But if the Supreme Court strikes down the tariffs, watch for a move up on this one. Lulu, another one that could move up off of that. Restoration Hardware, yet another one. These all are heavily been hit and impacted by tariffs. Costco had a nice wake-up call. They're one of the leaders suing the government off of these tariffs. We'll see how that for refunds on that. We'll see how that plays out. Room up there to the above 930, 940, then the 200-day. Walmart is waking back up, breaks above Friday's high, room back to the all-time high of 117.45. Target also didn't chart it this week, but we talked about this as one of my outperform names moving very nicely here. All these are looking fairly good. CCJ, new all-time highs on Friday, came off, it's extended. In general, the metals are just going nuts. Look at this move on aluminum, copper. We haven't seen metals move like this in forever. And this is overall not good for the economy. It's inflationary because if they're going up, that means the cost of making things are going up. So, we got to see how this is all going to play out. We come to the semis here, and I'm going to keeping it quick today, but the semis here hit a new all-time high on Friday. It's Micron. Barron's out this weekend saying, hold your nose and buy Micron. This is not what you think it is. SNDK, new all-time high, right? These two are leading. And then you have the makers of the companies that make the equipment to produce semis. ASML, right? New all-time highs. LRCX, AMAT, they're all extended, but they're all running. There's different type of market we're seeing right now that they're coming after these. What they don't want are for the most part, they don't want the semi names. Avgo, which is one of the leaders sitting here, continues to look weak, pushed up a little bit. You have an H cell pattern here, needs to really get back above that 50-day. Need to watch down at this 320 area. If it breaks that, could be problems. AMD continues to look weak, has bounced off this gap area around the 195 area a couple times. Look like it's going back for it. NVIDIA held the 100-day this week, but overall not great. 170 kind of becomes the area it needs to hold, but just sideways, nothing going on. Who is bucking the trend is Intel. This is a 52 plus week high, 46.59, your next level up there. Nice move on this one. They want Intel. To me, it's still the same company, but we'll see. CoreWeave, worth keeping an eye on. You have a downtrend sitting here. Come in and draw it here for you real quick, and you can see if it can take out that downtrend, it might be in the 50-day area, it might be able to break out. So I keep CoreWeave on your radar this week. Names like onsemi look good still. MRVL, not much going on. Qualcomm is all over the place. ARM, they just don't want it, right? ARM, they don't have an AI play, nothing going on there. As we switch our focus back to technology and stuff, we'll work our way around it here. I will say Oracle, nice candle on Friday, closed above the 21-day. If this holds, it could try to push to the 50-day and then the 200-day. We'll keep an eye on it. You got the gap there at 202.40. We'll keep an eye on Oracle this week as it's trying to wake up. The rest of the software names, CRM still looks good. I really like this above 270. Now continues to sell off. Crowd, which I like quite a bit, continues to look messy, cannot hold the break of the 21 day, really needs to hold, this area right here at the lows, this 448 area, 447. Hey, snow also, they still don't want it. They're not coming back for these. Palantir just remains a wide range, messy trade, but overall, if you want to intraday trade it, it's giving it, but it's not going anywhere right now. And we switch closer to big cap tech. We'll start off with that. Tesla. Tesla, held, right? It looked like it was going to break on Thursday, held, reversal candle, nice move. Now it needs to break above the 21 day. Overall, this 100-day trading moving average area continues to be support since back in here. It continues to try to hold it. See if it can break back above there. We'll keep an eye on Tesla. Microsoft continues to look overall weak. It really needs to hold this 445 area. Sorry, this 470 area, and then last but not least 465, but not looking great. Meta continues to look overall out of play, bounced a little bit, not much going on here. Really just nothing special here. It continues to try to hang in. It needs to clear the 200-day. Apple, this little gap remains unfilled down into that 253 area and really looks like it wants to go get it. Just cannot find a friend right now. Overall looks weak. They don't want it. What they do want is Google. Google, very strong, new all-time highs, although it looks like every time it pops to the highs, sellers come into it at this point. But huge move. I mean, look at the size of this move from 140 last year to 330. It just extended. You got to like what's going on with Amazon. Amazon has nice 4-day ups in a row here. Waking up 250 area is my next target, and then we see if we can get up to 256 area and make a cup and handle pattern. So overall, a lot of things to keep our eyes on this week in trade. This market is holding in strong and it looks fairly good. We'll see this week. Bank earnings on deck, the tariff situation, and inflation data. So we'll see how this all plays out. We'll see what we get this week. If you want to join us, link in the description at smartoptiontrading.com. We'd love to have you in our live trading room. Everybody have a fabulous week trading.